Welcome back with another video on this channel. I'm Zahir Nazir and today we're gonna do web application pen testing. This is a new path that TryHackMe released. And a few of the rooms I have already done so on this path because these were released before even the path was live. We're gonna schedule the learning path as well, but before there is a new thing called SOAK simulator launched by TryHackMe. Let me know if you are interested to having me solve the unique challenges that they have in the simulator. So for now we're gonna close this. Let's see what we are about to do or about to learn in this web application pen testing path, and let's schedule it before. At least we're gonna go with 3 hours at least. Okay, it's not holding up. At least 3 hours at least to every day, every week, in order to complete this part. So it will take like 31st of March. So let's see if we follow through this time because we already done few of the rooms already. Okay, so every day you interact with the web application. Just reading the information here means you are using a web application. That is very true, and it is hosting on HTTPS as well. Understanding how to test web application is a critical skill required by almost every pen tester. Even if you want to specialize in testing other systems like networks or cloud, a solid baseline in web application testing will greatly assist you on this journey. This path covers key topics that you need to understand for web application testing, such as authentication attacks, injection attacks, advanced server-side attacks, advanced client-side attacks, HTTP request smuggling, and much more. Completing this learning path will allow you to learn and become a great web application penetration tester. Okay. So mention it in the title as well. You will be doing great web application penetration testing. Okay, I'm kidding. Prerequisites. No prior knowledge is required. Although if you have a little bit of knowledge in the pen testing before, or if you are working as a junior pen tester, this module will be easier. If you don't have any kind of background knowledge about the computer science or information technology in general, then these could be challenging, even though these are considered to be beginner friendly. But in fact, if you don't have the experience in working with the computer science or information technologies or in development or pen testing, that means you will be losing a lot. But I will try to cover all the aspects that I know from my experience of over 13 years in software development, and also developing security solutions. You need no prerequisite to start this pathway, just enthusiasm and excitement to learn. Yeah, that is mostly true. So let's continue with this session management. All right. So this will take 60 minutes and it is very easy. Let me start the attack box as well. Learn about session management and different attacks that can be performed against insecure implementations. Sure. So we have introduction. In this room, you will learn about session management. Thinking about your interaction with the web applications, you should realize that you do not provide a web application with your username and password on every request. That is true. Instead, after authentication, you are provided with a session or a session cookie or token or something like that, depending on are you working with the API or you are working with the website like we are doing. This session is used by a web application to keep your state, track your actions, and decide whether or not you are allowed to do what you are trying to do. Meaning, are you authorized to do a particular action? Session management aims to ensure that these steps are performed correctly. Otherwise, it may be possible for a threat actor to compromise your session and effectively hijack it. All right. So prerequisites, see, they are prerequisites always: introduction to web hacking and enumeration and brute forcing. So enumeration and brute forcing, I think I have covered it already, and I will Also create a list, playlist where you can basically find this one, and I will also reference up here for you to click and go to that video before and come back and watch this video here. Learning objectives. Understand what session management is, understand the differences between authentication and authorization and how they each play a role in session management. Learn about the two main session management methods. Learn about the session management lifecycle. Learn how to practically exploit vulnerable session management implementations. So this is true. You will learn a lot of these things, but it does not mean that the software that you will encounter on regular basis, for example the websites, will have similar kind of vulnerabilities, because frameworks are always being updated, and they know about this vulnerabilities, and they always fix it. So if you are running a latest framework, unless you discover a 0-day, most of these vulnerabilities will not be there unless you make a logical issue in your software while developing the software, right? So you need to manage your expectations. All right, so our attack box is here. What is session management? This is task 2. Before we discuss everything that can go wrong, you need to learn about session management as mentioned in the previous task. You don't send your username and password with each request. However, the HTTP protocol is inherently stateless. This is very true, and that's why it is very scalable as well. Scalable mean you don't need to have a session management between your browser and the server. You just ask for the resources, and HTTP work statelessly, and that's why it's very fast. Okay, because there is no session there. Sessions are therefore used to track users throughout their use of web application. Session management is the process of managing these sessions and ensuring that they remain secure. Session management lifecycle. The best way to learn about session management is to use session management lifecycle as shown in the animation below. So we have session creation, we have session tracking, and we have session timer, and we have session termination. This is basically flow of the session itself, how the session will be created, how we can track it, and is there any time out for the session. Session is available 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever, and then the session will be terminated. Once it is time out, that means we will no longer have active record on the session side. All right. Okay. Session creation. You might think this first step is in the lifecycle occurs only after you provide your credentials such as username and password. However, on many web applications, the initial session is already created when you visit the application. This is because some applications want to track your actions even before authentication. Yeah, this is true. So this is contradicting with my previous statement and the knowledge that we learned that the HTTP is stateless. But even though it is stateless, if you're using any ad blocker or session tracking blocker, you know about this, that the companies are trying to basically measure the user behavior even though you are not logged in. There is a HTTPS session unique I think token which basically help company track the user even though you are not logged in, but there are some ways to track even though with your HTTPS how you handle your things with HTTPS, and also few other parameters. So they put a tracking cookie in your browser, and this tracking cookie, once you go from one website to the other one, and if they are using the similar kind of for example tracking technology such as Google Analytics or such a something like that, so they will be able to pinpoint the user behavior. For example, you are the user, your name is Nazir, and you are going from one website to the another one, and you are not you don't have any tracking block plugin installed on your browser. So anybody who is basically wants to track the behavior of your browsing habits will be able to do that. Okay, So that's why most of the people will always install, or most of the security solutions will always install some kind of plugin in your browser, so it will basically prevent the data collection and session tracking of the user, or the browser what do you browser habits of the user, which website the user go to and what he tried to do. So they will basically then send you the personalized ads to you on the website that you visit. So it's a big business, although I mean this is a business, that's why they are not basically preventing it, because it's a business and it is the main source of their revenue. Okay, so that's why this is how it works, but you need to protect your privacy. So that's why it is very critical that you understand how the session is managed so you can protect yourself. However, our main focus for this room will be on authenticated sessions. Okay, I gave you a brief history about the unauthenticated session as well and how to prevent it, install the non-tracking and the ad blockers. Once you provide your username and password, you receive a session value that is then sent with each request. Mostly we put it in the cookie. How these session values are generated, used, and stored is crucial in the securing session creation. That is very true. The value that your server send to browser in order to store it and then send this value back for every request that server your browser generates is very critical, and making sure that this cookie value is secure. Because the value is available on the client side, so anybody who have malicious intent will be able to see that value, and if they are able to decrypt it and basically modify this value and send it to server, they can do pretty nifty things on your website. Okay, so that's why it's very important that you secure it properly so nobody can decrypt it except the server where the request is going. Session tracking. Once you receive your session value, this is submitted with each and every request. This allows the web application to track your actions even though the HTTP protocol is stateless in nature. Yeah, they basically address this point. Awesome. With each request made, the web application can recover the session value from request and perform a server-side lookup to understand who this session belongs to and what permissions they have. And in the event that there are issues in the session tracking process, it may allow a threat actor to hijack a session or impersonate one. Okay. So once this session is timeout and the session is terminated from the server side, so if somebody already have your session and try to use that session, basically session is over. They will not be able to do that. But if somebody have hijacked your session before the session is timed out, that means they will be able to use your session and even extend the lifetime of the session. Okay, so it's always a sliding window kind of problem, where if the session is in use, the session timeout time will keep on increasing. All right. Okay, session expiry. Because the HTTP protocol is stateless, it may happen that a user of the web application all of a sudden stops using it. For example, you might close the tab or your entire browser. Since the protocol is stateless, the web application has no method to know that this action has occurred. This is where session expiry comes into the play. Your session value itself should have a lifetime attached to it. If the lifetime expires, you submit an old session value to the web application, it should be denied as this session should have been expired. Instead, you should be redirected to the login page to authenticate again and start this session management lifecycle all over again. Yeah, this is true. Also, the redirecting again to the authentication page once there is a very critical action a user needs to perform, such as deactivating, for example, credit card, or deactivating some kind of service, then you need to authenticate the user again. So to make sure that this is a valid request and user basically aware of the criticality of the action that he is about, or he or she is about to perform. Okay. Continuing the session termination. However, in some cases, the user might forcibly perform a logout action. This is session termination. So now we know what does that mean. Either the server terminates it, or is it session timeout's done and server terminates the connection, or user basically logs off and a session is terminated. So both of them are true. On third is the server itself basically remove all these logged in user, all the sessions that it have to, if the server is restarted, or if there is, or if the session management service is restarted. All right. Should we terminate issues in this termination process could allow a threat actor. Wait a minute. The web application should terminate the user session. While this is similar to session expiry, it is unique in the sense that even if the session's lifetime is still valid, the session itself should be terminated. Issues in this termination process could allow a threat actor to gain persistent access to an account. So for example, if session is terminated and still user have the session, he can still do pretty much a lot of actions based on this session. So that means user, the attacker will have persistent access. He can basically still use the old session values to perform the actions. Okay, using for example burp suit or something like that, some specialist room. In this room, we will look at what can go wrong in each of these session states. We want to ensure that the session security encapsulates the entire lifecycle. However, we first need to cover a bit more theory. All right. Which state in the session management lifecycle deals with the users pressing the logout button? The last one, session termination. So I will copy from here, put it here, and we are good to go. Awesome. Which state in the session management lifecycle deals with the users providing their credentials? Creation. Session creation. So because this is the very start, and without the user and password or some kind of authentication mechanism, we cannot create this session. This is true for only authenticated sessions. Which state in the session management lifecycle deals with users' actions performed after authentications? Tracking. Once we are doing basically tracking, session tracking. Awesome. Which state in the session management lifecycle deals with users that forgot to log out of the application? If you forget, then we will expire your session. All right, awesome. Let's go to the task 3, authentication versus authorization. To understand the common vulnerabilities in session management, we first need to examine authentication and authorization. While they sound same and are often confused, each plays a critical and unique role in session management. To better explain the differences, let's examine the IAAA model, which is identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability. Identification is the process of verifying who the user is. This starts with the user claiming to be a specific identity. In most web applications, this is performed by submitting your username or email address. You are claiming that you are the person associated with this specific username. Some applications use uniquely created usernames, whereas others will take your email address as the username. That is correct. Authentication is the process of ensuring that, okay, so see, there's identification that who you are, basically. What is who you are? Give us your username. Okay, if the username is correct, then we will proceed with the password to authenticate you. If username is not correct, then we will not allow you to even go to the authentication process. Okay, this is a new way of doing the things. All right, wherein identification, you provide a username. For authentication, you provide proof that you are who you say you are. For example, you can supply the password associated with the claimed username. The web application can confirm this information if it is valid. This is the point where session creation would kick in. Authorization. After the authentication, we have authorization. Authorization is basically you are authorized to do this specific action or not. Authorization is the process of ensuring that a specific user has the rights required to perform the action requested. For example, accessing the admin portal or something like that. For example, while all users may view data, only a select few may modify it. In the session management lifecycle, session tracking plays a critical role in authorization and also accountability. Accountability is the process of creating a record of action performed by the users. We should track the user's session and log all actions performed using the specific session. This information plays a critical role in the event of a security incident to piece together what has happened. IAAA and session management. Now that you understand the differences between the authentication and authorization, let's bring this back to session management. Authentication plays a role in how sessions are created. Authorization becomes important to verify that the user associated with the specific session has the permission to perform the action they are requesting. Accountability is crucial for us to piece together that actually occurred in an incident, which means it is important that the requests are logged and that the session associated with each request is also logged. All right. What is the name of the process in the IAAA model that would be responsible for tracking your actions and logging them? The last one, which is accountability. Okay. What is the name of the process in IAAA model that would be responsible for granting you a session value once you do the authentication? I think so. Right? Yeah, I think so. Awesome. What is the name of the process in IAAA model that would be responsible for verifying that you have the relevant permissions to perform an action? Authorization, of course. They did not cover the first one, which is identification. All right, we still have a few minutes to go. At least let's go with the task 4, and in the next video we're gonna go with the task 5, 6, and 7. Okay, cookies versus tokens. The last topic to cover before diving into session management security is the type of session being used. The two main approaches are cookies and tokens, each with its own benefits and drawbacks. Cookie-based session management. Cookie-based session management is often called the old school way of managing sessions. Once the web application wants to begin tracking, in response, the set cookie header value will be sent. The browser will intercept this header to store a new cookie value for a particular domain. Let's take a look at such a set cookie header. For example, we have set cookie and then this session. Usually this value is encrypted or encoded. Okay, it is not never in this clear text format. Your browser will create a cookie entry for a cookie named session, okay, and with the value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which will be valid for domain where the cookie was received from. That is true. Several attributes can also be added to this header. If you want to learn more about all of them, please refer here. Yeah, there is a Mozilla guide here. You want to check it out. Go see it. We're gonna move forward. But some of the noteworthy ones are secure, HTTP only, expire, and same site. Secure indicates that the browser that cookie may only be transmitted over verified HTTPS channel, so nobody can see the traffic even though they are tapping into your traffic, because it will be encrypted. If there are certificate errors on HTTPS is used, the cookie value will not be transmitted. HTTP only indicates to browser that the cookie value may only be read by client side, may not be read by client side JavaScript. Okay, so HTTP only. So if there is a, for example, you could say that why not? Maybe there is a functionality in which you need to use the cookie value. Okay, but it should not be your session cookie then. Okay, session cookie should always be secure, and if there is a value that you need to use on the client side in the JavaScript, that means you need to go with an API or some sort. Okay, because session cookie should always be secure and should not be used by JavaScript. Right? Expire indicates to the browser when a cookie value will no longer be valid and should be removed. Okay, because this is more of telling to the browser. So browser is on client side, you can modify the behavior, how the browser basically behave. So this value should also be enforced on the server side. So once the cookie is expired on the client side, it should also expire on the server side. Same side indicates the browser whether the cookie may be transferred in cross-site requests to help protect against CSRF attacks. So CSRF is the cross-site request forgery. Okay, where basically one side can read all the cookies from your browser and then try to basically decrypt and try to find out the information. So this is what is a cross-site request forgery. In key thing to remember with cookie-based authentication is that the browser itself will decide when a certain cookie value will be sent with the request. After viewing the domain and the attributes of the cookie, the browser makes this decision and the cookie is attached automatically without any additional client-side JavaScript code. Token-based session management. Token-based session management is a relatively new concept. Instead of using the browser's automatic cookie management features, it relies on client-side code for the process. After the authentication, the web application provides a token within the request body. Using client-side JavaScript code, this token is then stored in the browser's local storage. So you can also do the session management with the token-based, basically, where you will be using this token to within the JavaScript to call some APIs or whatnot, and this basically token will be stored in the browser's local store instead of the cookie store. When a new request is made, JavaScript code may load the token from the storage and attach it as a header. One of the most common type of the token is JSON Web Token, JWT. I think we have a room. We'll do after the session management. We will do the JWT token room. For now, we can just continue, which are passed through the authorization barrier header. However, as we are not using the browser's built-in cookie management features, it is a bit of the wild west where anything goes. Although there are standards, nothing is really forcing anything from sticking to these standards. Okay, benefits and drawbacks. The benefits and drawbacks of each of these methods are directly related, so let's take a look. We have cookie session management and we have token-based session management. Cookie is automatically sent by the browser with each request. Token has to be submitted as a header with each request using the client-side JavaScript. So basically what happens is in most modern web applications, you use the cookie sessions as well as the token-based session. Cookie is for basically session management, and token is generated based upon this session, and then this token is used for any kind of API calls to receive the data, okay, instead of just sending the cookie itself in the request. Cookie attributes can be used to enhance browser's protection of the cookie. Token do not have automatic security protection in force and should therefore be safeguarded against disclosure. That is very true. Cookies can be vulnerable to conventional client-side attacks such as CSRF, where the browser is tricked into making a request on behalf of users. And that is very true. The token is not automatically added to any request and cannot be read from the local storage by other domains. So conventional client-side attacks such as CSRF are blocked. Alright. As cookies are logged to a specific domain, it can be difficult to use them securely in decentralized web applications. The tokens work well in decentralized web applications as they are managed through JavaScript and can often contain all the information required to verify the token itself. What cookie attribute can be used to ensure that the cookie is only transmitted via secure HTTPS? Just we need to mention it that it is secure. What HTTP header is used in the response to inform the browser that the cookie is that set cookie? Set cookie. All right. What HTTP header is often used in request to indicate the transmission of a JWT? Authorization barrier token, barrier token. Here we go. Awesome. So thank you guys for joining me on this journey. We have just 3 more tasks to go. Once we come back, we're gonna address all of these 3 tasks in the next video. So if you have any comments, please mention in the comment section down below. If you like this video or does not like the video, just put it on the YouTube. But I will recommend to like the video so others can benefit from this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And once we are done with this video, wait for the click on here to go for next video, which will be the playlist for web application penetration testing path, which will include the next video in this session management. Thank you guys, and see you in the next video. Bye.